Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Checking in for the Daily Brad, and I hope that you're having a good Friday. So, let me just ask you a simple question today. How are you doing? How are you doing? Man, I'm gonna be pretty transparent today. I wasn't doing so great yesterday. I didn't have a bad day. Nothing in particular actually happened or went wrong. But just yesterday, in my own mind, I had gotten really excited that the Michigan number of new cases of the coronavirus is going to drop below 1,000. The numbers have kind of been sliding or kind of been drifting lower, and so I kind of set my sights on the goal, going, hey, maybe today we drop under 1,000. That's still a lot of people getting sick. That's still a lot of bad news to come. But I was like, okay, that's a big number. I wanted to hit. I wanted to get past. I wanted to drop under it and think, hey, maybe going into the weekend, the numbers are coming down and we can start to look forward. I know the weather, right? Being honest, like the weather the last few days has been absolutely crummy. It is cold. It is awful. But there was hope, right? There was hope because I was looking at the forecast, and starting tomorrow we were going to be in the 50s, and we were going to be going up a little bit, and even a lot of 60s were in the forecast in the next couple of weeks. And man, then like last night I looked at the forecast, and today was going to be colder than what they had said it was going to be. And Saturday wasn't going to be as warm. And now I think like next Tuesday, we're going to be low 40s again. And all those 60s that had been there just the day before, suddenly we're now not 60s. And now we're like 53s. And I just I felt like a balloon that had like a slow leak, right? I felt like something that, I'm normally a pretty upbeat, pretty hopeful kind of guy. And man, it was just like I could feel it. Like I felt like somebody was taking a needle and like poking my balloon, and it just was slowly easing out. And that number came in on the coronavirus yesterday from Michigan, and it was 1,200 or something like that. And I just being really honest with you, it was just one of those mentally tough afternoons for me. I was struggling, and I'm not trying to say woe is me. I'm just trying to be honest and authentic, because I know a lot of you are probably in those same boats. A lot of you are probably feeling those same things. Maybe you get all fired up about the morning, you're going to tackle school with the kids, and then like you have to talk to your kids and you realize that they're grumpy or they're frustrating. I know yesterday Christy was trying to watch a documentary with Emily and Ethan to do some schoolwork, do some learning type stuff, and she couldn't get the technology to work. Right, she couldn't get the TV to work from the phone, and they tried it once, and they got like 5 minutes in, and then it froze up, and they reset it, got it again. So it was just a frustrating, disappointing kind of thing. And man, are we ever in a season of disappointment? Are we ever in a season where it just feels like one thing after another, moment after moment, time after time, we can't catch a break, right? And I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about us. I'm saying just as a group, and that's not even to go into the people that are truly sick and dealing with this disease, right? Who are losing their loved ones. I just passed a funeral procession on my way here to the church, and I didn't pass them, they passed me as I waited. But right, that family obviously is grieving and going through a tough time, and how hard of a time to be going through a hard time, right? Because you can't grieve like you want to. The hugs and the embraces aren't available. It's just one of those times in life where it's just such a struggle. And so again, turning our attention to God's word today, he's got a verse for us. He's got hope for us in this moment, in this season where it just feels like there's just, the sun's not shining as bright, or the windows don't look as clear. The future doesn't feel as good. Listen to Proverbs 13:12, and it was up on the screen there when we started, but it says this: hope deferred makes the heart sick. Man, I don't know about you, but I think some of us are going around with some sick hearts, some saddened hearts. Listen to how the message is a paraphrase version of the Bible. And so basically someone who was really educated, really knowledgeable of the Bible, basically rewrote the Bible in their words. And these are the words that he spoke from Proverbs 13. It says, unrelenting disappointment leaves your heart sick. Unrelenting disappointment leaves your heart sick. Are we not in a season where it feels like unrelenting disappointment just comes at us, like just wave after wave and story after story and time after time? I got to break it to you in case you guys didn't catch this news. I think it was just breaking news, but all of you fantasy nerd geeks who were planning on going to Comic-Con this year in San Diego, that just got canceled, right? And so it just feels like all the things that we're looking forward to, all the things that we're hoping for, all the things that we're longing to be a part of, one after the other, tumbles and falls and tumbles and falls. And the Bible says it real well. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, right? Unrelenting disappointment leaves us crushed. But I want to give you the second part of this verse because it says this, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. But a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. Here's what I think a lot of us are doing is we're looking back with fondness on all the things we've enjoyed, and we're wondering if we're ever going to get to do them again. Or we're thinking about all the things that we're missing out on and going, boy, that we're never getting that back. But here's an important ingredient to the life of a Christian, and that is the word hope. It's about realizing that we can set our hope on things ahead and set our hopes on things that are bigger and better than the temporary things that we've missed out on. And that's not to dismiss the sadness that we're experiencing. It's not to say we shouldn't grieve the losses that we're going through. They are real and they hurt, and there's no good way around them. Hope deferred makes us heartsick, and it's tough and it's hard. But boy, when we set our hope on something bigger, when we set our hope on something brighter, when we set our hope on someone more available, on someone more reliable, the Bible says this, a longing fulfilled is like a tree of life. It's like a tree of life. And so here's the best way I can describe it. I've been running quite a bit since we've had a little more time on our hands. Now, I don't run fast. I kind of do a slow jog. I call it a jog. But as I've been jogging, I notice something. When I think about wanting to quit or thinking about being done, it's really hard for me to stay focused. But when I can train my mind, when I can focus my mind on what it feels like to be finished, to accomplish the run, to be done and over, feeling like you've exercised well and you've trained hard, there's a great joy that comes with fulfilling that longing, right? It's a tree of life. It fires you up and you're like, okay, I need to exercise more. I want to do this. I feel good when I'm done, but it's hard when going through it, right? It's great to be done, but it's hard to go through. Guys, we're in a season right now where it's hard to go through, but it's going to be good when we're done. This time is going to shape us and mold us. It's going to grow us. But boy, I'm just telling you, fruit is going to taste sweeter. Fellowship is going to be nicer. Events are going to be more fantastic. And so we've got to set our hopes on things to come. We've got to set our eyes on what's forward in the future and not just get distracted by the disappointment of the day. More than anything, we need to make sure that what we set our hope on is the tree of life at the end, right? The longing fulfilled is like a tree of life. Here's what I know. I know some of us are really sad and hurting these days because we've set our hope on things that aren't life-giving. We've set our hope on things that are false, fake, or that are kind of not going to last. So what happens is we get to that end, we get to that moment, and we expect to see this tree of life, but instead we just see a dry branch. Instead we just see a dead stump. So what we need to do is set our hope on things that endure, on things that last, and those things are found in Jesus Christ. And when we set our hope on him, when we reach that moment, when we see that hope fulfilled, when we see that longing satisfied, then we enter into the tree of life. And here's what's cool about trees of life. They're full of food to refresh us, and they're full of fruit that we can share with others. So we find again that hope, we find again that joy, and we take it and we fill ourselves back up, and we replenish our hearts, and we heal our hearts from the grief that we've experienced. And then we take some of that fruit, we take some of that food, and we pass it on to others, and we share that hope with them as well. I'm hoping that this Daily Bread has encouraged you. Like I said, this is not a feel bad for Brad kind of thing. I'm just trying to be honest. I have good days and bad too. And so what we do is we make the most of those moments, right? We endure them, we go through them, but we set our sights on the future, knowing that while this deferred hope has made us heartsick, the longing fulfilled is going to be a fruit-giving tree of life. And I just think we take that fruit and we fill up, and then we take that fruit and we find some friends and share it with them. Let's live a hopeful weekend this weekend. Regardless of the news, regardless of what may come, let's set our sights on things above. Let's set our minds and our hearts on things above. And let's trust that the life giver is going to lead us to the life-giving tree of fruit. Wishing you guys nothing but the best. Have a super awesome, amazing Friday. Love y'all. Peace out. Deuces.